live.
All right. Morning, guys. We are back at it.
Friday Q&A time. I don't know if it's Q&A or if it's Drew Talks a Lot.
Oh, wow. I figured it's Dorothy Talks a Lot. Should have a poll. I think I'd lose, though.
The DTA. Drew Talks a Lot.
Oh, my gosh.
DTA.
See what I got to deal with?
The DTA show.
All right. So last week, well, you guys know we're here every week. We try to go every Friday morning, and it's really just a live kind of Q&A. If you have any questions, if you have any topics that you want to talk about, you're welcome to write in or ask questions. Or otherwise, we pick a topic and we talk about the topic throughout our morning
Throughout the show. The DTA show. Once you get this guy going, can't get him to stop talking.
Okay. That's enough from you. All right. So today we did it kind of last week. We did a kind of like a part one, and we talked about.
Well, let me just back it up a little. Our idea last week was to talk about the challenges of different meals throughout the day. So we were going to talk about breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. But Drew talked so much about breakfast.
Such a lie.
That we
Go back and watch.
We didn't even get to lunch or supper. So we just talked about breakfast last Friday. We talked about the challenges of those, and we talked about the importance of a routine in the mornings to make sure that you get your breakfast in. And we gave out some recipes and some quick tips about that. So today we want to continue on and talk about lunch. And we all know that it can be a struggle for some to get in a healthy lunch. So we're going to talk about tips and tricks and things of the challenges of lunch.
Oh, nice little recap there. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
We got Vanda tuning in.
Hey, Vanda.
Good morning, Vanda. What happens if I hit chat? Oh, sorry. I don't want to get involved with that now, do I?
No, Drew always gets so off topic. He talks about me like being like not so attentive.
Butterfly?
But not so attentive. But he's the same way.
I don't think so.
I think so. Oh, what's this button do? Oh, what about that?
There's lots of buttons. So start on topic, talking about lunch here. So lunch is challenging because many times we don't know what to prepare for lunch.
Yes. Right? Oh, that's a big thing. Let's talk about that first. But I wanted to mention my thing first.
Oh,
so that we don't forget.
The Dorothy show.
Another thing about lunch. Okay, we'll just do a few things here why it's challenging. So we don't know what to make. Often it's in the middle of the day lunch. So then we don't stop. We get so busy doing what we're doing, we don't stop to actually have lunch. So that's another thing. And then preparation. We don't have any plan. We're not prepared. So then we end up usually waiting too long for lunch if we don't have anything prepared. And then at that point, when you're so hungry and starving, you just will eat anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good points. I just want to say good morning to Vanda. Check out Vanda's profile picture.
Nice, Vanda.
I love that. Those of you that can't see it clearly, that's a True Form shirt that Vanda's wearing. Thanks, Vanda. You're awesome. So what the biggest challenges around, excuse me, get a little frog in my throat there. What the biggest challenges around?
Oh, it's still there. Oh, they see.
Where'd that come from?
Because he talks too much.
I didn't even say anything today. So with the biggest challenges around like not preparing food, for example, you think that's a big one? Like, what do I prepare?
Oh, totally. It's the same with breakfast, right? Because we talked about that last week with breakfast, not knowing what to prepare. So prepare your breakfast the night before so that in the morning, it's all set out for you and you just have to eat it. It's the same thing with lunch. Have your little container in the fridge of what you're going to eat for lunch the next day all ready to go, and you just grab it and go. A great thing for lunches is to do leftovers because sometimes we don't have the time to prepare lunch. So if you're already preparing supper, make double, and then you have a lunch as well. And that's something we teach in our monthly membership all the time, is to, when you cook, you batch cook, so you have a bunch of meals to have for later instead of cooking all the time. So that's a great way to overcome the hurdle of lunch, is to make sure at supper time you make double, and right away pack it up. Pack it up in your container, your to-go container for the next day of lunch.
Those are great tips there.
He's fiddling around. He has no idea what I just said because he's playing with the phone. No idea. Usually he'd like jump in and say something. No idea what I just said. He's like, ooh, let me play with the phone.
I have no idea what she just said.
I told you so.
It's not that I was like messing around. We're going live on Instagram as well, so I thought I would set that up.
See? Not paying attention. Oh, let's go live on Instagram too while everyone's chatting here. So no idea what I just said.
I can't help it. Look, I just want to look at. We got Vandale where she said she loves being a true former.
We love that you are a true former, Vanda.
Yeah. And then Audrey jumped in here, and she said, "Oh, just wait. I'm bringing it over. We're bringing
Fiddling.
it. I'm bringing it over. Leftovers for lunch are king."
Yes.
Audrey said.
Makes a world of difference.
So I know Dorothy's going to give me a hard time for this, but if you guys are checking us out on Instagram, we're also on Facebook. So facebook.com/trueformlife. We go live every Friday morning. And those of you that are watching on Facebook, if you haven't checked us out on Instagram, that's just we use Trueform or Drew Tadia as a business page on Instagram as well. So when we don't prepare in advance, what happens? Like, what do you think happens with like lunches? Like how we're like scrambled, like I don't have anything to eat.
Well, then you tend to eat things that, well, the problem is we wait. If we don't have anything, we don't have a plan, then we just wait and wait and wait, hoping that something will happen, right? And then we end up eating stuff that is just easily accessible. We go to the staff room maybe and grab whatever's on the table in there, for example. Or on your way home, you are so starving, you grab something quick through the drive-thru. Or, little things, stop for gas. Oh, I'm starving, I can't make it till home. You grab a bag of chips. So, we don't always make the right decisions in the time of hangry.
In the time of hangry. I get hangry. Well, I think it's...
Yeah.
I think it's challenging when we don't plan ahead, because then we run into those issues of, like you're saying, like you go to the drive-thru and then you feel horrible, and then you feel horrible from the food that you've consumed, and then you feel guilty for going there. Then you feel guilty for feeling so bad that the food's making you feel horrible, and then maybe you miss a workout because you're not feeling energized. So it's a vicious circle that it's never one thing. And I think with most of the things that we talk about, it's always one thing after another. It's never just that thing. Like, it's not like the afternoon crash. It's not the afternoon crash. It's the decisions you made before the afternoon crash. Right. So I think if we could understand that those are the reasons these things are happening, is because of the hours or the decisions before or the days before, that's the reason that these things happen.
Yeah. And preparation is so key. We talk about our monthly membership, but another thing in our monthly membership we teach is to take a day for yourself to prepare. So one day out of the week where you set aside, you make an appointment with yourself for a couple of hours and you prepare food to set yourself up for the rest of the week. So that's something as well, because we know that that's something as well you can do to save time, because we know how important prep is for your success.
Mm-hmm. We just have some people jumped in here on Instagram here. So Lisa joined. We have Tina and Cindy. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We're doing our morning Friday Q&A. So
yes, good morning.
You're always welcome to come and check us out. Then we have Audrey in here. And Audrey, thanks for your activity on our Facebook page. You're often asking or answering questions there. And Vanda, you're always there as well. And if anyone else is popping in, let us know. And we're just doing a shorter show today. I think last week was about a half hour, but today we are going to go for about 15 minutes just to shine some light on this topic. And because we asked on our Facebook page, what are the most challenging meals? And it was kind of like
an array. Like
Yeah.
there was no clear, like it's breakfast, it's lunch, it's supper. Everybody struggled in different areas. So that's why we thought, well, we'll do a series of shows that touches on each one.
Yeah. And it's different for everyone because everyone has a different lifestyle. We have different family, we have different jobs, we have different issues in life that just pop up. And so I think it's normal. You don't have to feel bad if it's like, if breakfast is a challenge for you. And you're like, why can everyone else have breakfast? Or if lunch is a challenge, or dinner's a big one that we'll get into in another topic. But I think that like having those small meals throughout the day make a big difference. So for example, if you have your snack or you have your breakfast, everyone should have breakfast, as we talked about in the last video.
Week.
We'll link that video here below if you didn't get a chance to see it in the comments. But if you have your breakfast, the most important meal of the day, then we have a snack. Then at lunchtime, we're not starving, and we don't go in and grab anything. And then I think, like you mentioned, going to the staff room and grabbing maybe like whatever's on the counter.
Whatever's there. Usually it's not good, not healthy stuff, right?
So you're starving, you miss your meal. So at lunchtime, you're starving and you grab whatever. Or you go and you go out with what do you call them? Not employees, but colleagues or whoever, your coworkers is what I was looking for. So if you go for lunch with your coworkers and you don't make the best decisions because you're starving, everyone else probably isn't making the best choices. And then you have that afternoon crash and you struggle to get through the rest of the day. So again, I think all those decisions lead up to whatever the issue you're dealing with, and it could be the struggles with lunch in particular.
Yeah. Also, we talked about with breakfast, we talked about making time for yourself and how important that was. Like maybe that was getting up earlier than the kids so you get your breakfast in or have time to prepare. But that making time for yourself carries over into lunch as well, because a lot of times we get so busy or so wrapped up into what we're doing that we just skip lunch altogether. And I find it particularly more challenging when I am subbing or when I have a teaching day, because you get so wrapped up into the events of the day that you can just keep going without even having lunch, or you just skip lunch altogether. So making that time, setting an alarm on your phone, perhaps if you work in an office, setting an alarm on your phone. Okay, it's 12:30, it's 1 o'clock. It's time for me to step away and go eat my lunch. And I think that's important as well, is to step away from your working environment and go have lunch in a separate space, because the phone's going to ring, the email notification is going to pop up, and you're going to forget all about your food, and you're going to go to that phone or that email, or somebody's going to walk in your office and want to chat, so it's very important that you take a half an hour, take 20 minutes to step away and just have 20 minutes for you time to have a lunch.
Yeah.
As difficult as it is to step away, but I think that will make all the difference in the world. And something simple as setting an alarm to remind you it's time to go eat lunch, right, will help as well.
And there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with setting things in advance or using those tools, for example. I think that sometimes we're like, oh, I don't need that, or we feel like we shouldn't have to have like an alarm, for example. Like you can set an alarm on your computer, for example, and if that'll pop up, or you set an appointment like it's time to have lunch. So set that up so you're always reminded. I just found this cool plugin for Chrome. Here I'm going to get all nerdy again, and it's called Momentum. It's an extension on Chrome, and it's called Momentum. And on the front, every time I open up a new window, it says like what your focus is today, and then I have like a small to-do list. I'll pick like 4 or 5 things. So every day throughout the day, every time I open up a new window, I'm continually reminded. So maybe for you use that same kind of something similar, and it says have lunch, or make sure it says on your to-do list, have your snack, have your lunch, so you can check that off when it's done. And those little check marks really make a big difference for feeling accomplished throughout the day.
Yeah, and what was that? How do we get that little plugin?
It's an extension on Chrome, so you have to go to Chrome, your extensions in Chrome, and you just kind of...
I don't know what those are.
You just install it.
An extension.
Some people know. If you know, then then you know. If you don't, then I think it would take too long for me to try to explain it because I'm not super techy. But read this from Audrey.
I switched to dairy-free for my baby. It makes eating quite a bit of a challenge compared to how I normally eat, but it really made me have to stop with all the snacking on junk and be way more prepared with meals so I'm not always starving.
Awesome, Audrey. And it's really, I think sometimes when we get into we have a number of clients that are, what's going on?
Why did you stop?
I don't know what you're doing there. It's a bad idea when you reach across like that.
I thought they might like to see our face.
Okay, I can move that.
There we go. Oh, well, I was just going to move it down a little bit.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. So I think we deal with or work with a handful of clients that are gluten free, for example, or maybe have celiac or sensitivity issues.
Ooh, that wasn't coming out.
Those aren't words. That have sensitivity issues to gluten, for example. So they have to be extra careful and they have to put in that much more effort because if they don't, then they run into digestive issues or other health issues. So it's a great point, Audrey. Maybe some people are forced into this, and maybe your baby, for example, might have to be dairy free. But for example, our other listeners out there may not have to, but it might be a good chance to try that. So for example, like for the most part, we don't eat gluten, or we don't eat gluten, but we don't eat dairy either. So you have to put in a bit more effort and pay attention to food that you're putting in your body and putting in that much effort because it's so widely accessible.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to that being prepared piece because if you do have, a sensitivity to dairy or gluten or like Drew was talking about, then you have to always have your own food on hand, right? So you can't just stop and grab something, right? You have to always be prepared. Whenever you leave the house, you have to have your own snacks, which Drew does all the time anyway. Like we never can leave the house without having snacks because we don't want to run into any hangry issues.
I have blood sugar issues. I need food. That's all there is to it. I need food. All right, guys. Too bad we didn't have more time. I'm enjoying these.
We could go a little bit longer.
Well, we're reaching the 20-minute mark here.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention we do have an event coming up here for St. Patrick's Day.
We do.
Called the Green Machine.
The Green Machine.
So those are something that we enjoy doing. We do about once a month. We do our events. So what are we going to do for this event?
For St. Patrick's Day event, we are going to, of course, have everything green. That's kind of the theme of the night. But we're going to do some smoothies and show you how to detox with green smoothies. And we are going to teach you guys the difference between a detoxing veggie green smoothie and then a fruit smoothie. And that's often a point of confusion for a lot of people. So we are going to teach you guys how to detox yourself with the green smoothie. And we got lots of people asked if we were having another raw chocolate event. So for Valentine's Day last month, we did raw chocolate. We had lots of interest and people couldn't come. So they asked, are you doing another event? So what we've done is we've just snuck in another little demo of raw chocolate. It'll just be a little segment of the night. And then we've got some baking as well. We're going to do actually for the first time. We're going to do pancakes, green pancakes.
Green pancakes?
And we've got some green protein balls as well. So there's lots going on. We're going to teach how to bake refined sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten-free. So how to teach you to make some nice healthy snacks that you don't have to feel guilty about having.
You shouldn't feel guilty about having these delicious, wonderful
morsels
of goodness. Yeah, we're super excited, and we do these. Oh, oh my gosh, can I put this one on there?
You do that. That's when I was making my recipe for the green protein balls. It got a little messy.
Brenda said, green is king.
Oh, look at Brenda go. Woo!
Get over there. And Vanda also said, what'd she say? Vanda, you said you have to pack snacks too, so you don't get hangry. Thank you. I'm happy to hear I'm not alone, Dorothy.
Well, I didn't say that I never get hangry. I do sometimes.
Check these babies out. These are our protein balls that go over very well everywhere we go. And Dorothy has constructed them into delicious green protein balls. Trina.
If you're watching.
All right, guys. So this is something we look forward to every Friday. So hopefully you get a chance. Again, if you're on Instagram, check us out at facebook.com/trueformlife. Then if you guys are on Facebook, head over to Instagram. We post there every day as well. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do you have something there?
I was just going to say, next week, join us again, because we're going to talk about supper next week, right?
Yeah, good point. So we talk about the challenges. So we'll link the video from last week that we talked about the challenges of breakfast. Today was the challenges of lunch. And then next week, we're going to talk about the challenges of dinner and give you some dinner ideas and options. We'll share some recipes as well.
Supper.
What did I say? Dinner?
Yeah.
Supper?
Dinner is lunch.
Let me tell you, I gotta tell a story real quick. So my grandma, I grew up, my grandma I was very close with my grandma. She lived like a block away, and she had a hearing impairment. So every once in a while, she would ask me to make phone calls for her. And I was under the impression, and I kind of still do, that dinner and supper is the same thing. And more so like old school. I think people still call dinner supper, like in our age group. Mm-hmm. And like older school mindset was, or terminology, dinner was always lunch. So she said, can you invite my friends over and tell them to come for dinner? So I make the phone call, and I call them and I invite them over for supper. I said dinner, supper. So my poor grandma they said, yeah, they're coming over. She has lunch set up for them, dinner, and they don't show up. And so she's kind of pacing around wondering what's going on. She's like, well, call back. So I called back after an hour or so later, and they said, oh, yeah, we're coming over for supper. And I'm like, dinner, supper.
You're so confused. That's why I just avoid dinner. Because I don't know where it goes. Breakfast, lunch, and supper.
Yeah. So that's my little Friday story for you. Some words of enthusiasm from Vanda.
Have a fit Friday.
Oh, we should use that. All right, guys.
Yes. Now, Vanda, you see, you got the wheels turning. He's like, whoa, Fit Friday. What can I do with this?
All right, guys. We are out of here. Have a fantastic Friday. Friday, you like to say?
I like to say Friday.
Or Fit Friday, coming from Vanda. And we'll catch you guys next week or throughout the week on our Facebook page here or on Instagram.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.